everybody. My name is David French, and thank you for watching my Week 1 discussion board. Presentation, I'll be talking, just giving you a little self-introduction to myself, a little bit of my personal life and professional life, and then I'll get into the tides of reform, going over the scientific management, war on waste, watchful eye, and liberation management. So just a little bit about me. I am a father of 3. I have 2 boys and a girl. My oldest is 5 there on the top, and then the 2 little ones on the bottom are my twins who just turned 3 back in February. I'm a big sports fan, big Bay Area sports fan, so I do like to watch a lot of sports. When I'm not doing that, I like to be outdoors, play golf. Wish I played more than I do, but if I'm not doing that, I do enjoy hunting and fishing, and then also smoking meat. I'm not much of a cook, but I do like smoking things. Moving on to my professional life, I graduated from Menlo College with my degree in business management. From there, I went on to work with Enterprise Rent-A-Car for about 2.5 years. Didn't really know what I wanted to do, but Enterprise was a great kind of launching point for me to build some foundation in customer service and overall understanding of business. I then moved into the fitness industry where I worked for 24 Hour Fitness for about almost 5 years. Managed a couple of their fitness facilities as a general manager. Then moved on to a private gym in Morgan Hill, California, helped open that gym. And then moved on to work for Facebook, managing one of their fitness facilities for their WhatsApp location. After fitness industry, I had an opportunity to kind of pivot and switch gears into a different career. That's when I got into the public sector with the city of San Jose. I started off as a recruitment analyst in public works. Just got my foot in the door, hiring all sorts of classifications for the department. I did that for almost a year before I was promoted to a program manager overseeing capital procurements, so procuring construction contractors and engineering and architectural firms for designing various projects for the city. And then after that, I became a division manager overseeing a $750 million bond, which I was able to be a part of some really cool projects, a lot of public safety projects. So some examples I'm showing you here are some of the fire stations, emergency operations center that we had a hand in helping develop. After the city of San Jose, I moved down here to Southern California about 3 years ago during COVID, and got a job with the city of Jurupa Valley as the Public Works Operations Manager. So up in San Jose, I was on the capital side and the engineering side of Public Works, and down here I'm more on the maintenance side of Public Works, overseeing all the maintenance in the public right-of-way, so streets, sidewalks, landscaping, and so forth, which has been a great experience for me. I really enjoy it. I love the people at the city of Jurupa Valley, and it's really kind of given me a well-rounded breadth of public works. All right, so moving into the tides of reform. These next few slides, I'm going to talk about scientific management, war on waste, watchful eye, and liberation management. So scientific management philosophy was derived from the theory of Frederick Taylor, which emphasized the need for structure and rules within an organization, really the search for the one best way of conducting activities to really achieve the most efficient way of doing things. This type of management philosophy sees the organization as a machine and the employees as cogs in the machine, which are really required to follow strict rules and do what the management says. Though the original idea of scientific management is a bit outdated, we can still see some modified form of this in modern day. An example of that is our current emphasis on productivity measurement and the way we organize our organizations in hierarchy fashion and really kind of segmented into specialized groups for efficiency and expertise. And I see this in my current organization as we're currently in the process of doing a classification study. And one of the goals of the classification study is ensure that the individual's roles match their job titles and classifications to assure the proper placement within the organization and to identify clear job descriptions. The next tide is war on waste. And this reform was focused on really doing more with less to maximize economic efficiency. And what brought this on was some audits and investigations, whistleblowers, and scandals that highlighted some of the inefficiencies of the government and the wasteful spending of taxpayer dollars due to gaps in rules and lacks of implementation of rules. And as a result, these organizations had to tighten their internal controls and oversight of regulations. There was implementation of new rules and accountability. And as some of these things are positives, there is a downside to this, and which is that all this leads to organizations to focus on employees and their deficiencies, which really kind of leads to employees sticking to the book and only abiding by the book, which results in more red tape and bureaucracy for the public to have to deal with. And a modern-day example of this was in my previous organization. There was an internal audit conducted on our procurement procedures, and it found that our current procedures were a little too lax. And although we were still in compliance with the city charter, the auditor felt that we were not getting the best cost for the work, or we had the opportunity of not getting the best cost because we were pretty lax on some of our procedures. And so due to this, we really had to tighten it up, which did cause some issues for some of the smaller contractors, which made it a little bit more difficult for them to bid on projects. The third tide is Watchful Eye, and this reform focused on fairness and transparency to ensure that the public and individuals' rights were protected. And access, in order to monitor this, access is granted to the public, the media organizations, whistleblowers, interest groups, and they were to help monitor and call out when and if public rights were violated. And over the years, various federal acts and reforms were implemented due to this, and it did have impacts on modern-day human resource managers. An example are the requirements for recruitments for public sector staff to be advertised publicly and to allow for any qualified individuals to apply for these positions. And I personally experienced this while conducting recruitments for the city of San Jose. We had very strict policies and procedures in place to make sure that we're ensuring that we're meeting that requirement of not only public postings of all of our jobs, but also to make sure that our internal policies were in place so that we had fair and open recruitments, and we weren't we didn't have any perception of discrimination or anything. And we also had to ensure that our documentation was in place just in case someone did feel that they were being discriminated against, or that we were not following the policies, that we had all of our documentation lined up to defend ourselves. The fourth and final tide is the liberation management, and this reform focuses on higher performance in government, and this can be measured through evaluations, outcomes, results, and really the need for government to improve results in removal of red tape and the reduction of bureaucracy in government organizations. And this reduction of the bureaucracy allows for work groups, it gives them the opportunity to work more harmoniously with management and allow for productive partnerships. A modern day example of this is my current organization. We are a new city. We incorporated in 2011, so our staff is very small compared to the number of residents that we serve. And we do have more of a flatter hierarchy than most established organizations. And we have a lot of cross-pollination of job duties between departments to ensure that we can meet the needs of the citizens. And even though that can create some friction at times, it more importantly creates that harmony between frontline staff and managers, as described in this tide. Thank you much for watching my video. I look forward to watching yours.